Hi everybody, it's Robin from Talks from the Heart. In this video, I'm going to do a really fun tutorial or some quick tips on how to do some fun, cheap, sometimes even free backgrounds in your art journal. And the book I'm going to use today is actually a book I got at the Dollar Tree that I use as my scrap journal. And what I mean by that is if I just have leftover paint from a project that I'm working on or a page that I'm working on, I just smear it in here, and so eventually I will get to it and make actually art journal pages. So you really don't need a fancy art journal book. You can just find a cheap book that has really nice thick pages. And also remember that if you don't want the print or anything to be on it, you can just get some white gesso and use that on the pages to kind of give it a base so it takes the paint better. All right, so that's how I got these. I was just kind of doing my January journal and I had some leftover paint, and that's how all this happened. Okay, so let's get into these fun ideas. I hope you enjoy this video and stay tuned. With this video, we're going to just use some basic art journaling or art supplies. I've got some gesso, some Dylusions ink spray, some Dylusions paint. I wanted to pull out a lot of different qualities of paints, some Jane Davenport paint, and then the Michaels brand Artist Loft acrylic paint, matte medium, and just some basic stuff. Now, when I do my art journaling, I try to reuse things as much as I can. And so this right here is what I have my matte medium in, and it actually was the paint tray that my Jane Davenport paints came in. And this is just a candy tin that I just saved because I can use this for paint, I can use this for paint on both sides, and this, and just kind of use it as a paint palette until it gets so gunky I have to throw it away. Okay, so let's get started on idea number one. Okay, so the first idea that I want to share with you is just paper strips. I was trimming some paper off from my planner, and I thought, oh, these would make a really cool background. So I'm using Dylusions ink sprays, and I'm just spritzing them lightly. And those ink sprays are amazing because they just soak right up into any kind of paper. And so I'm just kind of drying them really quick with the kitchen roll, as Diane Reevely would call it. And I'm just going to put down some matte medium really quick because that's what's going to make it stick to the paper. And then I'll just lay the strips down willy-nilly, whichever way they come off my hand there. And still struggling with that cold, you guys. Hopefully I get rid of all of it. And so I'm just going to put some matte medium on there and dry it really quick. And I'm not going to really talk the whole time. So I'm going to take some gesso, and I use a spatula, a brush, or a like a metal blade type thing. And you know, you could just go to the dollar store and get a rubber spatula and use that. So I'm going to dry that really quick. That was the first idea. Second idea is I'm a huge planner girl, and so I have a lot of planner stickers, the empty sheets. And I thought, man, I like that idea. So I gave it a shot, and I love it. And it really gives your page texture. So I'm taking some Dylusions paint, and I'm just laying down stickers that I don't use or that are left over from kits. And then the backing, which is just the shell of the page, and just laying it down. And if it falls over the edge, I just trim it off and then just lay that trimming on the paper. So I've treated the page with some paint, and then we're going to lay down another sheet here. And really a great idea on how to use your scraps. And then I'm just going to adhere all of that with some matte medium and then dry that really quick. And then I'm going to take my spatula there, or my scraper, and use the color Pomegranate Seed, which is one of my favorite colors from her line, and just scrape it over the top there. And you can see how that stickers, how those empty sheets turn into a really cool background. I try to always be frugal with all my paint, so I just clean it off on the facing page there. All right, the next idea is circles with cups, and we're going to use some basic household items. So I'm going to prep the page with some white gesso using my spatula. And I got that in the art supply section at Hobby Lobby. Like I said, you don't have to have a fancy one. I'm going to dry it really quick with my heat gun. Not sure if you guys know, but a heat gun is different than a blow dryer. A blow dryer is going to blow stuff, but a heat gun is actually going to heat it dry. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take my blue paint from Michaels and then my Jane Davenport, kind of I don't know the color, I apologize, but it's kind of a pink. And I'm adding water, and there is a party cup, just a paper cup. And I added water to my paint puddles there just to kind of dilute it a little bit. And you can see how fun that gives you a wonderful background. And don't forget to use the bottom side because it gives you a different color ring. And I thought that was really neat. Okay, and then who doesn't have these in their house? Empty toilet paper rolls. So paper towels, toilet paper rolls, those make great rings. And then the other day I was making blueberry muffins and I thought, what? I wonder what would happen if I made a background from these. And this is what happens. It kind of gives you a little crinkled effect. So I really like those baking cup liners. And then we all get those in the mail, don't we? The You Are Pre-Approved cards, and I use those to create stripes or to scrape paint on. And then I'm just cleaning my spatula off on the left side. Okay, the next idea is using another really cool household item, Q-tips. So I'm just prepping the page with some gesso, some white gesso. And you know, gesso comes in black too. And I'm taking my brushes from the previous page and I'm just cleaning them off to create just a paint background for demoing. And then, because I also don't want my brushes to dry and I want to get them in water, but I don't want to waste that paint. I mean, look at how much paint I got on that one page from those two brushes. So you take Q-tips, take a twist tie or a rubber band, whatever, and you just create a bunch, whatever size you want. And I'm taking some acrylic paint from Michaels. It's called Burnt Orange. Believe it or not, I remembered that color. And with this, the Q-tips absorb the paint very quickly. And so you kind of want to prep them before you put it to your page. So that's what I'm doing there, is just really inking them up. I'm taking that wax paper then, putting it on the facing page. One thing about art journaling is, at least the way I art journal, and then how cute is that? Just dabbing it in the paint and then putting it to your page and lifting straight up. Very cute. So then I decided, oh, what would happen if I started using those other two colors too? So what I was saying is, one thing about art journaling for me is I will go down to my art area in the basement and I will just sit maybe for a whole day and just do backgrounds, whichever. So then don't forget you can use the other side. So don't throw those Q-tips away. So I'm drying it there really quick. And so like I said, I will just be doing backgrounds and then go back a while, you know, whenever the next time I want to, and then create more layers on that page. So I'm taking these baking cups now again, these liners, scrunching it up. I've prepped the page, as you could see, with some white gesso. And I'm going to set my book aside here for a second, and I'm going to take some black archival ink and some Dylusion stamps. I really like the dandelion ones. And I put it on the acrylic block. I know I probably don't have to narrate this for you guys, but if you're new to stamping, you just want to kind of take your ink and tap it onto the stamp and then put your stamp down directly onto your paper or whatever, and then lift straight up. And then, you know, if you're like me and you don't care if one image is darker than the other, then, you know, just keep stamping. So I'm going to put some, again, pomegranate seed. Oh, that color is just gorgeous. And I'm just painting over that white gesso. And then with the same brush, I'm just taking the vibrant turquoise, and because I do like it when colors blend, I am careful though, just to dab it into my lid because I don't want to get the turquoise or the pomegranate seed into my paint, my turquoise paint. But then I just created a background. It wasn't drying fast enough, so I thought, oh, I'll put some paper towel on it, and look it, I got texture from that. So there are no rules with art journaling, just go with it and have fun. So we'll dry that up really quick, and then what I'm going to do is take that baking cup, and I'm going to take the matte medium. I'm going to put a layer of that matte medium on the base of the page, and then well, here first I decided I'm going to add some color to the baking cup because it just seemed too white, and I wasn't sure if the color on the actual page was going to come through. So I just wanted to kind of add some color. So I'll take some matte medium and make sure you have enough, and then also make sure your paint is dry. And we're just going to apply it there. Matte medium is different than Mod Podge. Mod Podge, the regular stuff, is kind of glossy, and the matte medium obviously is matte. I like the matte medium better than the matte Mod Podge. It's a preference. You got to try it. All right, last but not least, the last idea is who doesn't have 1,000 receipts and coupons in their house, or making their wallet really fat where you can barely shut it. So I decided that how would it look if I made a background from that? Because a lot of times I'll stamp a background and then paint over it. So I decided to save some of the, I think that was Kohl's Cash or whatever. I never ended up using it. And then Michael's, and they're 40% off coupons that they hand to you every single time you go through the line. So I used to say, oh no, I don't need those. No, don't give it to me. And now I'm like, yep, I'll take them because I'm going to use them in my art journal. And so then you just matte medium that on. And notice now the Michael's coupon I crumpled up. And then this little receipt that I think I got it from Kohl's, like, will you take the survey? I did not. And you'll see here in a second how that gave it more texture when I crumple it up. So I'm just going to add some Jane Davenport. That peach is so beautiful. My voice is starting to give out. I apologize. And I'm just going to, I plop some on and then just take my metal scraper and just scrape it across the page. Give it color. And then there's the pomegranate seed again. And then we're going to add that. And again, notice I did not dry the peach. This is just my style. Somebody might not like that, but... And then we'll dry that really quick. And a lot of times when you do a background, sometimes the colors you've chosen are really, really dark, and that may not be what you're looking for. So what you can do then is just add some white gesso on top. And this time I chose to use a brush, and I also chose to dry my paint first because I didn't want the gesso to mix with the paint colors. But how cool is that? How cheap is that? And so I hope you enjoy. Well, I hope you really like those ideas, and I hope it stimulates you to be creative. That is my intent. And so I really appreciate you staying tuned. And here are the pages again. That is spray ink with paper strips. And then again, sticker scrap. It really gives it nice texture. And here we use the toilet paper roll holders, and then the cupcake holders, and the credit card. Q-tip idea. Again, the cupcake holders with stamping, and then I just smooched the paper towel on there. And this is old receipts, and who doesn't have a million of those? So it gives it nice texture and body to the page. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed what you saw, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and always enjoy today. Bye, everybody.